bar and put a derby cage into that Camry. Let's get started. So this piece of tubing right here is what we're going to use for the driver door bar. Now this isn't anything really fancy, pretty thin wall. It bends pretty easy, but you know what, it is an extra form of protection for me inside the car. So our plan is to cut this down and use this as a driver door bar across the driver door. And then this round piece of tubing we're going to use for our post to post. Now I'm going to do this cage a little bit differently than what I've done in the past because I have smashed the door off the camera. I have removed the dash in this, and I think that if I just weld to this, that would make that pretty damn strong. I could go on the outside like I normally do, and this right here is the factory dash bar that goes across. It's to hold in your factory dash. I removed the dash because I was having problems. Don't worry about that. But the reason why I don't really want to go to right there is because when you shut that door, that's pretty damn tight. So if I just run the piece of steel to there, weld it, and then along, and weld it right here, and then extend it past like I normally do, and then run my door bars, I think that'd be good. So let's get a measuring tape and try to figure out what kind of lengths we need here, and I can show you guys as a quick drawing on the hood. So our driver door bar is going to be 44 inches long. Now it's 1 3/4 inches wide, so the distance between pillars is 56 3/4 minus outer 1 3/4 means the post that we need to go from the far pillar to this pillar is going to be 55 inches total length. And we can make our first bend at 24 inches. So this is a very simple cage, and the reason why I'm doing such a simple cage is because of the rules. I'm not allowed a gas tank protector, I'm not allowed a passenger door bar, I'm not allowed anything like that, I'm not even allowed any down bars. So it's just going to be welded to the dash, maybe a plate to help weld it to the side of the car, welded to the side of the car, and then the bar will go across. So let's get started on this, and it won't take us too long. Before you guys do any welding to any of your cars, make sure the first thing you do is make sure the battery is disconnected. Mine's already disconnected, so I'm not welding when the car battery's hooked up. And the reason you do that is mostly for the computer. And you just don't want to burn it out because computers are not easy to replace. Well, most of the time they are pretty easy to replace, but the problem is they cost money. And you don't want to be spending money to replace something that you don't need to replace. Let's get started cutting all this. So we have our cage inside the car, the driver door bar, and then the crossbar, and it looks a lot like our drawing. So you know what, I'm pretty happy with that. This is basically the maximum these rules let you run. Yes, I can run a halo bar over top, but realistically, if I can't put it to the floor, there's no sense for me to do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not planning on running this thing over, rolling this thing over. I'm pretty sure I'll be one of the very few cars at the Demolition Derby that actually has a cage, so puts me ahead of everybody else. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw a front window bar in. Now, it would be cool to do our 2 window bar setup that we built for the Mazda again on this car, but the rules state it can be only a singular piece. So let's figure out what we can do for this and get it mounted. Because we're only allowed 1 bar, we're going to go back to the farm jack. Now, I really like these. I find them to be great, and they do a fantastic job. So we're just going to quickly mount this by punching a hole at the bottom and punching a hole at the top, and that is done. So let's get started. Now with the front dash bar in and the cage done, what we're going to turn our attention to next is actually underneath the hood. I've already pulled out the 2 rad fans and thrown off to the side. I don't like to run rad fans on my rad because our heats do not last that long. Realistically, the longest heat I've been in is about 18 minutes. Nothing out here really usually lasts over 10 minutes, so a rad fan is not really necessary in those situations. So we're not going to run rad fans on our Camry, especially for a stock class. They usually don't last over 10 minutes. Sometimes you'll get 12, 15, but that's a pretty long heat. What we're going to do now is I'm not allowed to add a transmission cooler to this, but what we are allowed to do is loop our transmission lines. So I'm going to take the transmission lines off of the radiator, take them right off of here, and I'm going to cut these back quite a bit where it comes out of the transmission because these have a tendency of getting broken off. Some guys will just loop from here back to there. That works, yes it does, but I find that they have a tendency to get bent and broken up here once everything starts coming in. So we're going to cut it back down a little bit farther and try to loop our lines more tighter and closer to the transmission. So as you can see, we now have the transmission lines looped. We just cut this one back as far as we can, and we have the stock transmission cooler line come out and loop right back to the other one. And the transmission's basically done. So that is what we've done on this car today. We've put in a cage, very simple cage. We've put in the window bar. We've put in the tranny line loops. So I'm going to call that a day on this car. So thanks for watching Zach's Workshop. Make sure you guys hit the like button down below and the comment button. You feel free to leave a comment. And the Camry's coming along pretty good. See you guys tomorrow.